Hi and welcome to today's video where I have the rest of my face base makeup which is my contours, my bronzers, my blushers and my highlighters. So I'm going to start off with the contours. I had three, as I can recollect, three in January 24. So I have this very old Illamasqua one, and it says it's a powder blusher, but it's in the shade, I think it's Prima, but it is a contour. I'm not sure why it's a blush. There is no, it's just a brownie taupe with a bit of grey in. So that's on its last leg, so I hope to finish that up this year. I have the MAC, and this is also supposedly a blush, and it is Next to Skin is the range, and it was called Back to Nature. And there it is. It's a very cool tone taupey shade, and I've hit pan. There isn't a lot left, but I'll try and see if I can get that finished this year as well. And then I have an old random one here in a Random Housing. I'm not sure which one that is, but this is more, it's a cross between a bronzer and a contour, but it's classed as a bronzer. So I'll keep that in with the contour. So I had three. The two extra that I brought in during 2024 is the Milk Makeup, and I'm using this one at the moment. And I didn't realise at the time because I didn't test it. It had a dome, so I was using it to wear the dome down, and then the cap rotated at the bottom, but it wouldn't push up, and that is a common fault. So I wouldn't recommend to anybody getting the Milk sticks that are like this at all, because they go soft and then they stick to the sides. Now, if they were in a container that propelled upwards, that would be fine, but the actual product has to propel itself up, and it is highly problematic. Also, it is not airtight, because although you have two caps, an inner and an outer, air whistles in through the bottom of this, so it's a bit pointless really having the double cap at the top. That's why these go bad so quickly. So I'm using this at the moment. I've decanted it into another container a few days ago, and that's how I'm using this one. Another is the Westman Atelier Biscuit. This is in a mini. Bearing in mind the Milk was a full size one that I've just shown you. So this is mini. I prefer this as I think you can get lost such a tiny product. This one I haven't really used. It's slightly warmer in tone as a contour. It's a contour though than the Milk, so I wanted to get the Milk started first over the winter months, if you know what I mean. But I will be then moving on to using this, particularly under the cheekbones, and I use the powder under the chin to define the jawline. So I've gone up by 2. I'm going to move on to my blushes, I think. So at the moment I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And this time last year I had 14, so I'm down 2. So the products that I had this time last year include this, which is in my project pan, which is Benefit Rocketeur. And this is it's pressed very, very tightly. So you only need a little. It's quite pigmented, and it's going to last quite a long time, even though it was only 1.6 gram. So I've got that. The next one that I've had, and this has not been used, or it has it maybe once or twice, is the Gold Rush. And both Rocketeur and Gold Rush are discontinued, as is the Georgia Peach. It's been replaced with Just Peaching, and I think that is slightly different to this one. But I have used quite a bit of the Georgia Peach. I don't know if I can show you, but it has had quite a bit of use, and the writing that says Georgia has worn off, or most of it has. So I do enjoy that one. Then I have a Clinique one that I got from their outlet store, the makeup or the cosmetics company outlet store, which is the Estée Lauder group. I've got 08 Melon Pop. It's a bit pinky for me. I prefer a Definite Peach, but I have had some use out of it, and it is a baked gelée type formula. So it is quite lovely. Anything else that's in? I also had this, which although it's a duo, I'm only going to use the blusher. So basically, I've only counted that. This is a coral. It reads a bit more orange than it truly is, but I hope to get some use of this. It hasn't been used. It's by Zoeva, and I got that in an advent calendar. So I need to use that. It's the Spice of Life range. I also got this in a beauty box, and it is the Blush and Lift Bliss by Revolution Pro. So this is a liquid one, and it is a dusty pinky with a bit of beige in. I'll see how I like this, because I don't normally like pink on my cheeks because I consider them pink enough. But I have yet to try that one. So, and also I had this. Oh no, so let me just think. I'm not sure if I had this at the beginning of last year. I may have done. But these also I had at the beginning. So I think possibly these are the newer ones, because I have discarded some in declutters. I could be wrong, but I think these are the newer ones in my collection. I have as in the latter half of 24. I've got Deborah Milano Super Blush in Natural Effect, and does it have a name? It has O2. Just O2. So this one is a peach tone, perhaps slightly coral. It's very soft and buttery, lovely, made in Italy. Then I have my two Gucci's. I've got 02 Apricot. Now, I may have had this at the very beginning of 24. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But this one I haven't used yet, and that is 02 Apricot. It's in very heavy packaging. Then we have, which I got at Christmas 24, or just before, is the Gucci limited edition. It's a festive edition in 10 Soft Peach. And I will put the two Gucci's together, because they are very, very similar. So here is the Soft Peach, and there is the Apricot. So there's very little in it. Very, very little. But they are quite beautiful. Then in another beauty box in December, I got Kia Weiss Deluxe Sample of Blossoming. So this is a cream blusher. What I will say, it is a warmish tone pink, I would say, because it's showing pink up through the lens of my camera, which is on my phone. It's showing a bit cooler than it actually is. But it is definitely a pink. And then likewise, similarly, I've got another pink, which again, pink isn't something I generally like, but I can use it to modify other colours. But I do like the Hourglass powders. So this is like the ambient lighting powder in Luminous Flush. In fact, it says ambient blush. So this is very new as well. But it's like a blush or a blush topper. So I'll be glad to try that one out. And then finally, for blush, I have the RMS Beauty in Crystal Slipper. And this was again bought towards the end of the year. It's in quite a heavy component, and it is refillable. But I have two components. I've got one for blush and one for bronzer. I prefer to keep them in a component, but you can get them just in a little packet. So I have yet to use this. Quite beautiful. A Crystal Slipper. So they're all of my blushes that I'm focusing on the Benefit ones to try and get finished up. I'm going to go on to highlighters next. And this time last year I had 14. Now I have 4. So I have decluttered 10. So what I have left is a highlighting trio by Kevyn Aucoin. Here it is. So basically there's Aura, Illusion and Enchanted. Aura has got a purple tone, Enchanted has got more of a bronze tone, and Prismatic is a green. So the white or cream to other colours. So they'd be nice as highlight, as inner corner highlighters, or as a special effect on the cheeks. Haven't used that one yet. I also have, I had that last year. I had this last year, the Illamasqua Beyond Powder Highlighter. This one is in Deity. So OMG, I did use a bit last year and got rid of. And because highlighters aren't a particular favourite now of mine. But this one is quite pale and it has a bit of a greeny reflected. It's not even going to pick up there, but in my hand it seems quite greeny, and I just thought it was quite unusual, and I'll keep hold of it for now. It hasn't been used, but it is still quite lovely. And then I got in an advent calendar this glass highlighter by Rodial in Champagne Glow, and this is in my current project pan. Put a bit, and I put it onto the back of my hand and then dab it with a finger, padded my finger onto my cheekbones, and there it is. It's a lovely champagne colour. It does retain its tack to some degree, so it doesn't fully dry down to a powder, but I don't find it problematic despite having long hair. Although I do know I tend to tie my hair back up a lot. And then finally, I got this in November in the sales. This is by Victoria Beckham. It is the Reflect Highlighting Stick in Pearl. So it has quite heavy casing, and it's one of the thin lipstick type formulas. Got VB on, and it is a beigey tone, a warm beige I would say, and it's in the tone Pearl. So they are all my highlighters, all four. So I can see I'm working on one actively at the moment, and then I shall start using the Victoria Beckham one. So the final items that I've got are my bronzers. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this time last year I had two, and I'm going to talk about those two first. So I had the Laura Geller, and this is the Baked Bronze and Brighten in Fair. So I got that midway through 23, and here it is. It's quite pink toned, and I think in part because mine's got a lot of pink in. They all have the same amount of colour, but they are mixed on a palette. So it could well be that the more browny tones are hidden underneath. So what tone you get does depend on what is on the top initially. And then obviously as you work through, the tone could change, but it is quite pinky, is what I will say. There it is. And I've gone for one of the browner parts, the cool brown parts, to show you. So that is a very lovely cream baked blush. The next item that I had was from Gucci, and it's the bronzer in 01. And these were hard to get for a long time in the UK. They seem to be slightly more readily available. Not many shops sell this product, but it took me a long time to get number one. There it is. So it's very similar in tone to the Laura Geller. The Laura Geller has a bit of sparkle and is a bit softer in terms of, it's not as pigmented, but this is a lovely pigmented rosy toned bronzer. The next one I have here is the Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear by L'Oreal, and this is in shade 200, which is the palest one in Fair or Pale. Now, to my knowledge, this has never been for sale in the UK in store. I managed to pick this on eBay. It was the only place I could get this. And this one is perhaps leading a bit more neutral or warmer, slightly more warmer tone, but it's still, I would class, it's warmer than those two, but I still class that as still cool. And that's what it's supposed to be, a cool toned bronzer, in that there is quite a bit of pink in that one, but it's lovely and soft. And I know a number of makeup artists, including Nikki LaRose, talk very positively about this powder being exceptionally good from the drugstore. Then I picked up towards the latter end of the year, the Lancome, and this is the CE Skin Transforming Bronzer in 001 Fair. So it has quite lovely packaging. It is quite light, I will say. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's had quite a lot of use. So it has a rose on which is disappearing. It's lovely and soft and silky. And that is the tone. So it is the lightest one that I've got, but it still is quite prominent on the skin of my arm. But it does go on very lightly, and it is buildable on the face. So what I will say is that the top one is satin. These are all mattes. Now the next one I've got is a matte, and it's by Milk. Now this is the reddish. It is a very warm toned one, and it's going to be very orange. There. So you can see the orange tone. I'm using this at the moment. It's in my project pan. I use it on the perimeter of my face. It is too warm tone for me, although that is quite a concentrated swatch. And finally, it took a while to get this because it was only launched this year, and it was frequently out of stock on the websites that did sell it. And this is Beach Walk Betty by RMS. This shade in particular was the one that sold out, I think because of its tone. So this again is a pink toned or cool toned bronzer, but this one does have some reflect in. I tend to go for mattes, but this is very pretty. So I'll try and get, and it's quite pink toned. If you look at that, that is quite pink toned. And I'd say it's nearer to the Gucci in colour, the Gucci Fair. So it is like, I've put it next to the Gucci, and I would say it is like the Gucci sheared out if it was a satin base. So although this looks very shiny, when it goes on the skin, it's more of a sateen finish, like the Laura Geller. So they're all of my bronzers. I have been focusing on the ones that I've had quite a bit of use on, I'm going to be honest, is the L'Oreal, the Laura Geller, and the Lancome, because this one is quite light for winter. So they are all the products that does complete all of my face products that in my collection. And I have not put in any items that were purchased in January 25, but it's just as a static, reminder really of an aide memoir for me to know what was in my collection at the beginning of 2025. Can I say thank you very much for watching, as I do appreciate that your time is valuable, so thank you for spending some of that time with me. Otherwise, hopefully I shall see you soon in another video. There will be some more, and at least one or two videos for my eye makeup and lips. So hopefully I will see you soon. Otherwise, please take care of yourselves, and bye for now.